Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video, and this is just going to be another random movie review. I know I just did, the Kentucky Fried Movie and Amazon Women on the Moon, so I figured I'd review a couple more random movies here and there. Just leave some random ones just out of just random ones just out of thin air, just pick some random movies and things like that, including this one. Now, I say when I think about this movie here, I probably say it's probably my favorite. I'd say probably my favorite sports movie. I mean, there are many great sports movies out there. Rudy, 61. What are some other ones? The Replacements. I have fun with Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman. I mean, Major League. That's another one of my favorites. I love Major League. So there's a lot. Hoosiers, that's another good one. And all that. So there's a lot of really good sports movies. But for some reason, this has always been my favorite sports movie. I think because of the cast of this film, and you can tell by the title already, that review is. And before I get onto it too, I did pre-record a big old rant on movie 43 in parts. Because I did, the Kentucky Fried Movie and Amazon Women on the Moon, and just want to see me lose my mind over movie 43. It's in multiple parts, going through every skit to help save you guys from losing your sanity. But anyways, that's for another time. But getting on to this movie, this review is going to be on Any Given Sunday. My favorite sports movie, I will say that. Like I said before, this is just one of those films that I think the main reason why I love this movie, and because it is my favorite sports movie, is because of this cast. I mean, look at this cast. Al Pacino, Dennis Quaid, Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz, James Woods, LL Cool J, Matthew Modine, Charlton Heston, Ann-Margret, Aaron Eckhart, John C. McGinley, Jim Brown, Elizabeth Berkley, James Cameron, who is in Return of the Living Dead. He has a small role in this as well. It's just a hell of a cast of people. Just a hell of a cast. And it's directed by Oliver Stone. Now, Oliver Stone is a director. I really do enjoy quite a bit of his movies. I probably say my favorite is this movie, but I also really enjoy Platoon, Natural Born Killers, The Doors, I'm trying to think of other ones. Oliver's JFK, that's another good one. But for Oliver Stone films, I probably say this is my favorite. Because I love the way, because out of the Oliver Stone movies, this is kind of more of a straightforward movie than some of his other ones. Because when you think about Oliver Stone really does touch upon some bigger subjects like the Vietnam War, the media portraying serial killers, or the JFK assassination, things like that. But this is more of like a straightforward kind of like movie where it's a football movie, and I think he does a great job directing this. I think the reason why this film works so well, like I said before, is because of this cast. I mean, Al Pacino plays your lead. He's the head coach of this team called the Miami Sharks. Al Pacino, great actor. I love Al Pacino as an actor. He's one of my personal favorite actors. Devil's Advocate and Justice for All. Heat, The Insider, of course the Godfather films, Donnie Brasco. I mean, Al Pacino's been in so many good movies, and this is one of my personal favorites of Al Pacino. He plays Tony D'Amato, who's the head coach of the Miami Sharks, and he's been the head coach for a very long time. The team used to be good, but now they're not doing so good anymore, and people feel like he's getting a little bit older. He needs to move on. He needs to retire. Like, his old ways are not useful anymore. Things like that. Cameron Diaz plays the owner of the team, who's more concerned about the money, and her father used to know Al Pacino back in the day, and she does as well, but she's more concerned about the team and the money, saying to Al Pacino, you're getting a little bit older, you're becoming an old dinosaur, maybe you need to move on, things like that. Dennis Quaid plays the quarterback who's been on the team for a long time, but he's much more older. He's had injury problems with his back, his pelvis, and things like that, but Al Pacino is loyal to Dennis Quaid because he was the quarterback for a very long time. Jamie Foxx plays the new quarterback that comes in, and he's making the headlines, he's turning people's heads, and in some ways the fame goes to Jamie Foxx's head, so he gets a little bit cocky and arrogant and thinks he's better than everybody. Kind of the fame gets to him a little bit. And the back and forth between Jamie Foxx and Al Pacino was great. You know, some of the arguments they had between each other. There's some really good heart-to-heart scenes as well. James Woods plays the team doctor, who is kind of pretty much like a slimy team doctor who's tend to overlook certain things. He's more concerned about getting paid some money. So he's kind of, he's like the slimeball team doctor. James Woods pretty much is a villain in this, and James Woods is another one of those guys I love as an actor. The Hard Way, John Carpenter's Vampires. I mean, just a lot of other great stuff. James Woods, Videodrome. Of course, he was Mike Torino in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. James Woods, I really do enjoy him. You have LL Cool J is part of the team, he's a guy who's more concerned about getting paid a certain amount of money if he gets like a certain amount of yards. And him and Jamie Foxx battle it out with each other. And also in real life during the production of this, they did really butt heads with each other. They were enemies back in the day. Nowadays they're okay with each other, but back then they really did go head to head and butt heads with each other. Matthew Modine plays a guy who works with James Woods. Charlton Heston has a small role as a commissioner. Ann-Margret is also has a small role. Aaron Eckhart, who is the offensive coordinator, who Cameron Diaz is favoring to become the next head coach when Al Pacino steps down because he's getting older. John C. McGinley has been in a lot of stuff. He plays a guy who hosts this show and talks crap about Al Pacino. You also have Lauren Holly from Dumb and Dumber, who plays Dennis Quaid's wife. And the reason why this film works so well is because of this cast. I mean, the cast in general was great. Al Pacino, he's fantastic as the head coach. You're not focused! The way Al Pacino just yells, it's so great. And Al Pacino at the very end gives a great speech at the very end. The ending is really, really satisfying as well. I think that Dennis Quaid does a great job as the quarterback. You feel sorry for Dennis Quaid because there's a part where Dennis Quaid's talking with his wife, who's Lauren Holly, and he says, "Yeah, I can't do this anymore. I'm older," and she slaps him and says, "Don't give me that bull crap," and things like that. You feel sorry for Dennis Quaid. And the rest of the cast do a great job. James Woods, Jamie Foxx, LL Cool J, Matthew Modine, Aaron Eckhart. Really cool to see Aaron Eckhart in an early role. And I think Oliver Stone does a great job filming the football scenes. They're really intense. You get the hard-hitting action. It is R-rated. It's really hard-hitting action. And I think Oliver Stone does a great job filming the football scenes. And just overall, it's one of those sports movies that is just inspiring. It's got a hell of a cast. I know when the film came out, it didn't really do much at the box office. I mean, it wasn't a flop or anything, but it cost about $50 million, and it only made about $100 million worldwide. Because in the U.S., I think it made $74 million on a $50 million budget, and it didn't really make that much overseas, like $24 million. So overall, it made about $100 million worldwide. So I wouldn't say it was a flop. It was maybe, I guess you would say, like an underwhelming box office performance. That's a shame, too, because, this is my favorite sports film. It always will be my favorite sports film. The cast works great. Really nice direction by Oliver Stone. You do get those motifs of Oliver Stone's direction. Al Pacino's great, Dennis Quaid, James Woods. There's a great part where Al Pacino calls out James Woods on his crap, and James Woods and Al Pacino are going back and forth, and Al Pacino and James Woods. It was just so cool to see like actors like Pacino and Dennis Quaid and James Woods in the same movie together. And Jamie Foxx around this time was not that big of a guy just yet. I mean, he's much bigger now, but around this time, you know, In Living Color and things like that. But really, this was his big first step in a dramatic role, and I think he did a great job as the new quarterback who becomes cocky, and the fame goes to his head, and Al Pacino has some heart-to-heart moments with him and calls him out. And Al Pacino, you know, has some great moments with the team where he motivates them and things like that. But it was just really cool to see a lot of other actors in here, like James Cameron from Return of the Living Dead, John C. McGinley, Aaron Eckhart, and things like that. But if you really do enjoy Oliver Stone's films, and I feel like this is the Oliver Stone film that's the most forgotten about because no one talks about Any Given Sunday. When people think about Oliver Stone, they think about Platoon and Natural Born Killers and things like that, but no one ever brings up this one. It's my favorite film of his. I love this movie a lot. My favorite sports film, and even if you're not like a football fan or a sports movie fan, I think it's a pretty damn good movie, even if you're not into football. But I love Any Given Sunday. I'm not going to say much more about it, but it's definitely worth your time. So that is pretty much it for my review for Any Given Sunday. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, take care.